Don't mention it. The sky was already orange by the time we left the store. We couldn't find suitable glass panels, so we ended up buying new display cabinets. Perhaps due to being privately owned, the prices were a lot higher than I thought compared to the city. There's a hole in my wallet already. I wonder if I should withdraw some money from the bank on Monday. No, I've already decided to use Mom's savings on our school fees. I have to get myself a job.
さっき買ったちなみ愛用サイトボード2号。お店の人がお家まで運んでくれるって言ってたね。
Yeah, by the end of the day too. The prices are high, but privately owned stores also have a delivery service.
じゃあすぐに帰らなきゃだね。夕飯前にはサイドボード組み立てちゃおっと。
You can do it by yourself?
できるよ。ちなみはもう子供じゃないからね。
Chinami hurriedly passes the station building and heads for the residential area. The station is south of the residential area. If you go up further north and cross the railroad, you arrive at the beach. The primary school I attended with her isn't far from the beach. If you follow the railway and head east, you will come across the canal. Go further and you'll arrive at the neighboring town. It wouldn't be considered Hibarigasaki anymore. So geographically, here would be the border of the shopping district. If Hibarigasaki were some old town, the neighboring town would definitely be the big city. A city comparable to the one we lived in. Although I don't know whether it's because we are closer to the north or if the town is spread out, but the atmosphere doesn't feel busy around here. Time in Hibarigasaki feels as if it's slowly climbing upstream. I'm taking a walk alone. I say that right in front of the door, confusing Chinami.
どうしてお店の人がサイドボード運んでくるのに
Sorry, but can you handle them for me? Taishino-san too when she wakes up.
これからどこ行くの
It doesn't matter, does it?
懲りずに展望台なんて言わないよね。図星っぽいな。
That's not it!
お兄ちゃんのバカバカバカバカバカバカバカバカバカ
She starts hitting me.
過去は美しいから過去なんだよ。夢から覚めるには現実を見つめることだよ。まずは目の前の女の子を見つめることから始めるべきだとちなみは思うな。
But the only one in front of me is you.
それでいいんだよ。ちなみで正解なんだよ、お兄ちゃん。
Well then, I'll leave the display cabinets to you.
お兄ちゃんのバカ
Didn't you say only idiots call others idiots? I've been called an idiot a lot recently, although I call Chinami that too. But that's understandable. I'm an idiot for clinging onto the girl who resembles her. If I wanted to meet her, there are more practical ways than just using her name. Furthermore, I'm a big idiot because I place meeting with her above everything else. It's understandable if she gets mad and doesn't show up. While Yume Misaka isn't that steep, it's abnormally long. The lookout and the hill were both originally tourist spots, but why did they close off the lookout? Apart from students traveling to and from school, this hill isn't used anymore. The students who attend Hibariko must all be very fit.
だから
Twin Tails!
言葉を言わせないで。生徒の屋上の使用は禁止されてるって言ってるじゃない。
Who's that? I heard it right then while I was passing by Hibariko.
それじゃあテンクルの意味がないって。こっちだって何度も口酸っぱくして言ってるでしょ
What are they talking about? Two female students are arguing about something by the school gates. One of them I've never met, and the other one is Minahoshi Asuho, the maid from before. People passing by stop to have a look, myself being no exception. The two of them raise their voices and glare at each other, emanating an explosive tension in the air.
テンクルの意味って言われてもたかが同好会じゃない。視聴覚室を使わせてあげてるだけありがたく思ってよ。
Oh, so Tenkuru is some sort of club, huh?
視聴覚室だけじゃスクリーンに天体図映すくらいしかできないんだよ。いつまでもニヤニヤ眺めてればいいじゃない。それじゃ健全な天体観測とは言えないんだよ。あなたたち同好会にはそれで十分でしょ。全然十分じゃないんだよ。最近なんかみんな飽きちゃってトランプ三昧になってるんだよ。これで視聴覚室も取り上げる理由ができたわけね。
Can't you just do that?
どうしてそこまでテンクル多めの仇にするんだよ、こももちゃんは。
Is she the student council president or something?
私のこと名前で呼ばないで。
So that is Kumomo, huh?
今日は七夕なんだよ。7月7日は雨の確率が統計で 70% 以上もあるのに、今年はなんと晴れなんだよ。蝦夷中なんだから雨でいいのに。織姫と彦星が私を待ってるんだよ。天帝に引き裂かれた2人は今年ようやくサイルーユを枯らすことができたんだよ。
What is Sairuyu? Sairuyu?
サイルユーというのは織姫と彦星が流す涙のことですよ。七夕の日の雨をよくそんな風に呼ぶんです。
Wait, this girl has the same hair and eye color as the girl with the twin tails. Are they sisters, maybe? Twins? I was surprised because I only just noticed another girl standing close by.
以前にもお見かけしましたね。彼女さんとは仲直りされましたか？
Looks like we've been misunderstood again.
今日は何かひばり港にご用ですか？観光客さん。
No, I'm not a tourist. This is the second time I'll be introducing myself today. I'm Koga Sakayo, and I'll be transferring here as a second year next week. Nice to meet you. I introduce politely. That's also the second time I've moved. For someone you've just met, their first impression of you is very important.
これはご丁寧にありがとうございます。私はひばり港の2年生、久垣小雨と申します。
She returns an even more courteous self-introduction.
今日は転入手続きに来られたんですか？
The two over there are still glaring at each other, but it's going somewhat smoothly over here. The procedures have been handled already.
敬語じゃなくてもよろしいですよ。私たち同学年じゃないですか。
Though I wish she'd also stop speaking so formally.
以前もこの近くを歩いていましたよね。
I had something to do at the lookout. I'm going there today too.
展望台？
She tilts her head in puzzlement.
でもあそこは立ち入り禁止なのに、どんなご用で？
I'm meeting a little girl.
早く屋上の鍵貸してってば。もう一番星見えちゃってるし、急いで望遠鏡運ばないとなんだよ。そんなに天体観測したいなら自分の家の屋根でやればいいじゃない。私んち喫茶店だからそんなことできないんだよ。以前やろうとしたら外から見えるし集客に関わるって言ってお父さんがダメ出ししたんだよ。じゃあ潔く諦めることね。諦めきれないからこんなに頼んでるんじゃない。どうして分かってくれないの、こももちゃんは。私のこと名前で呼ばないでって言ってるでしょ。相変わらず平行線ですね、ハスホさんと姉さんは。
Oh, she called her Nesan, so they really are sisters. And the one with the twin tails is the older one, I guess. Nesan? Now that she mentions it, the girl arguing with the maid does look a lot like the girl in front of me. No, rather, they're like mirror images of each other.
七夕だったら天体観測じゃなくて笹の葉に短冊結んで願い事でもやってたらいいじゃない。そんなバレンタインさんを祝わないでチョコだけ送るような真似するなんてテンクルの直れなんだよ。たかが同好会にはぴったりね。そもそもテンクルを部として認めてくれないのもこももちゃんのせいじゃない。
Why is it her fault?
名前で呼ばないでって何度言ったらわかるの？それと天体観測愛好サークルを部として認めないのは部員数が少ないからであって私のせいじゃないでしょ。そんなことない。部員が集まらないのもきっとこももちゃんの差し金なんだ。自分の非を他人に転嫁するのはやめてくれる？絶対こももちゃんのせいなんだ。絶対こももちゃんのせいなんだ。こももちゃんのこももちゃんのこももちゃんのこももちゃんの名前を連呼するの今すぐやめないと部だけじゃなくて同好会も潰すわよ。どうもキリがないようですので私行きますね。
What are you going to do?
姉さんの怒りを鎮めてからアスホさんをなだめます。
She bows and walks away after giving me a nod. Well, I'm curious as to how she's going to meditate the two. I shouldn't be here watching the show. Even though Tanabata has different implications for the maid and me, it's still Tanabata nonetheless. It's when I made the promise with her, so it's a very special day. There's evidence that someone has been to the lookout before, even though nothing has been discovered since last year. She, who is currently enrolled at Hibariku, hates the place, so naturally she wouldn't go there on her own accord in the first place. Who are we talking about now? To her, the lookout is somewhere to be avoided. An unforgettable place where fate went amiss. It's hard to imagine her going there again. If a chance appeared, the job will be remarkably easier.
とすると、これは別人か。
The girl stands by the fence, staring coldly at the footprints. There are two sets of differently sized footprints, each probably belonging to a man and a woman. The man's footprints outnumber the woman's, so it appears that he comes here more often than the woman. The footprints go towards the other side of the trees, heading in the direction of the lookout.
物好きもいるものだな。
It might be some tourists ignoring the sign and trespassing. However, that's probably not the case if it's the same man crossing the fence repeatedly. Which meant that the man had a purpose for going to the lookout.
何が目的かは知らないが、私の邪魔だけはしないでくれよ。
She, who shouldn't have been able to enroll at Hibariku, is studying there nonetheless. Sending her back where she should belong is this girl's job. This place is the finish line for that purpose, so to speak.
ゴール手前で石につまずくことだけは避けたいからな。
It isn't a problem if the man is just here for the view, which makes his multiple visits understandable. What the girl is most worried about is that if he's going there every day as if it were a necessity. In that case, she would have to eliminate him. What? Her job requires such measures to avoid attracting public attention.
どうしたものかな。
She doesn't know anything about this man except for his footprints, so she's unable to make a proper judgment. She needs to find out more about this man as soon as possible. After she discovers his intentions, she can decide whether or not she should eliminate him. The girl was contemplating if she should follow the footprints to the lookout, but her thoughts get interrupted. She could hear footsteps approaching from the hill.
これはまた。
The problem himself is drawing closer to her. The pebble himself is appearing. Is the pebble going to be large enough to trip on, or can she tread on it without worry? Will she have to eliminate this pebble before she crosses the finish line? Looking almost bored, the girl sways her elegant long hair. Who was that? After the fence comes into sight, I notice someone else was already standing there. I haven't met anyone coming up here until now, so it feels uneasy rather than refreshing. Huh. I guess this is the girl we heard talking just now, huh? The other person doesn't look very surprised. In fact, it's if she's been expecting me. Is she a tourist? This, being my first time meeting her, isn't the reason for my surprise. I've moved out of this town before, plus I can't possibly remember everyone who lives around here. Not only that, judging by what I've heard from the students from Hibariku, the locals would know about the lookout being closed off. If the locals knew about it, they'd have no reason to hang around here. If she's unaware of this, she probably isn't from this town. It's a different matter if she's here for a reason like I am.
この先は立ち入り禁止だ。観光なら立ち去ることをお勧めするが。
The person says this bluntly. She has a feminine appearance but speaks like a man, so she gives off a metrosexual impression. No, I'm not a tourist. Just how many times have I repeated that line today? I'm Kogasaka Yo, and I just moved here recently. Nice to meet you. Greeting others formally has also become a routine.
とすると、やはりこの展望台が立ち入り禁止なのは知らなかったのか。
This person's different from the others. She doesn't introduce herself. No, I am aware of that.
じゃあ、君はなぜここを訪れている？
To meet the little girl. I have some business.
君がここを訪れるのは、これが初めてじゃないということか。
No, because I have business here.
何のようだ？
What's with this person? Why does this sound like some sort of police interrogation? Perhaps you're involved with the construction of this fence? Well, that's the case. I'm in the wrong.
そういうわけじゃないが。
She languidly brushes away the hair on her shoulders behind her back.
ただ、最近この展望台に勝手に立ち入っている輩がいたようなので気になったんだ。
She stares at me coldly. Why does she know that I've been trespassing? This feels too much like an interrogation and is making me feel uneasy.
それで、
君はこの先の展望台にどんな用がある？
Since you are not involved with this fence, I have no obligation to tell you, do I?
この町の住民として一応注意はできると思うが。
So this person isn't a tourist, but a local. Warnings to not trespass?
まあ、そうだ。
I'm very sorry, but can you please overlook it?
できれば今すぐ立ち去ってほしいんだがな。
That's a difficult
どう
demand.
しても行くのか？
Yes.
大事なようなのか？
Yes.
どんなようなんだ？
That's a little...
言えないのか？
Well, there's nothing to hide. I'm just a bit hesitant to tell someone that I've only just met about my situation.
言えないというのはやましい事情があるということか。
No, that's not it.
なら答えてくれ。
It's only a warning, so I don't need to tell you why I'm going there, do I?
残念だがそうなるな。
Then I'll be taking my leave. Not wanting to continue the pointless conversation, I start heading for the trees. Even though I'm not doing anything guilty, doesn't it seem like I have something to hide now?
もう一つだけ聞かせて。
She asks me with the same indifference from before.
君はこれからもこの展望台を訪れるのか？
Yes, probably. I dare say for sure. At least until I meet her again.
そうか。
She says that over her shoulder and leaves. I quickly headed for the lookout because I had wasted too much unnecessary time. But there wasn't anyone there. The girl called Mare, who looked like a Grim Reaper, wasn't there. I lie on the nearby patch of grass in exhaustion. It appears that Mare won't show up until it's dark. I haven't seen her here during sunset. Indeed, she did say she would come during the nights when the stars are invisible. Then does that mean that she'll only be here if the sky is clear? She's still a child, yet her parents don't seem to be concerned about her nighttime activities. It seems like he still doesn't believe her. Overhead, in the sky above the townscape, I see a star glowing like a lost child. The first star in the summer evening. Jupiter. Venus is frequently considered to be the first star to appear, but because this flickering one is at zenith, it should be Jupiter. The one glowing below Jupiter, towards the west, is Venus. I'm quite knowledgeable about the stars due to her influence, though I only know the stuff from science classes from way back when I was living here. Maybe it was to mask the loneliness of being separated from her, but I stared at star maps all day. Not only did I memorize the constellations, I also read a lot about their related legends. I paid special attention to the Tanabata legend and read it over and over again. My past self probably thought we were just like Orihime and Hikoboshi, although the books did mention Orihime kissing Hikoboshi's forehead, and unlike Orihime, she didn't know how to weave either. The similarities were trivial, but I still looked forward to the Tanabata night sky, hoping that I could see her again. It's still during the raining season on the 7th of July, so the chances of rain are high. Due to the neon lights and smog in the city, you couldn't see Altair and the Vega clearly even when the weather is clear. I think that's why I couldn't savor the sky during Tanabata. This in turn strengthened my desire to see her, although with the passing of time memories of her started getting obstructed by clouded glass, much like what the Milky Way does on Tanabata. It's thanks to Tanabata that my feelings of wanting to see her are crystal clear. The only thing I can't forget is her, because I fell in love with the starry sky in Hibarigasaki, which appeared to be falling down. I can't possibly forget her. See, just like this. The sun finally disappears beyond the horizon. The town was no longer bathed in orange light. What followed was the scenery I had been looking forward to. Surely, if you added all the stars together, their recital would be comparable to the sun's. The sky here is on a completely different level to the city. No star map can illustrate this. The number of stars completely illuminates the dark patches in the sky. It really feels as if I'm in a sea of stars. And there she is again.
七夕の星空なのね。
I don't know when Mare appeared nearby. In her hands is the scythe I had grown accustomed to seeing, reflecting the light from the countless number of stars, overflowing like a punctured tire.
なんだか星が多すぎて怖い。
Yeah, I'd get uneasy too if I stared at them for too long.
綺麗なものも多すぎるとグロテスクになるのね。
That's a rather solemn expression you've got there.
織姫と彦星ってどれかわかる？
There are the two bright stars above and below the Milky Way, which would be that cloud-like belt.
上にあるのが
Orihime.
下が彦星。
Yep.
よくできました。
Doesn't she know this already?
じゃあ彦星は
She appears to be murmuring to herself.
彦星は織姫のお尻に敷かれてるのかな。じゃあ約束ね。私たちは必ず再会すること。この展望台で必ず再会すること。織姫と彦星みたいに離れ離れになっても最後にはちゃんと2人は再会すること。そして再会したら結婚すること。結婚して私のお尻に敷かれること。どうしたの？間抜けな顔して。
I don't. This girl is triggering my memories without realizing it. Though I might just be overly self-conscious. So, do you know the story of Tanabata? Mare doesn't respond. If you don't, shall I tell you?
別にいい。
Don't say that. Listen up.
あなたが話したいだけじゃない。
Long ago, on the shores of the Milky Way, lived God's beautiful daughter Orihime. She would always follow God's orders, weaving diligently every day. She continued to weave beautiful, sparkling fabric. Although God appreciated her diligence, he felt sorry for her because she didn't have time to fall in love despite coming of age. One day, he decided to marry her to a cattleman by the name of Orihime. What? By the name of Kengyu. Orihime and Kengyu began their happy life together.
めでたしめでたし。
She cuts the story short. Nope, there's more to it.
彦星がまだ出てきてないものね。
The cattleman known as Kengyu is Hikoboshi.
そうなんだ。
Yeah. She responds vaguely, giving no indication as to whether she knew the story or not. Orihime and Kengyu got married and lived together happily, but Orihime was too engrossed in her newlywed life and completely neglected her weaving. At first, God overlooked it because they only just got married. However, he gradually lost his patience and took Orihime away from Kengyu. God made her live on the shores of the Milky Way once again and ordered her to continue weaving. He told her that if she works sincerely, he will allow her to meet Kengyu once a year on the 7th of July.
めでたしめでたし。
If it ends there, how could it be considered happily ever after?
年に一度会えるならいいじゃない。私なんて何年も待ち続けていたのに。
For who?
あなたを
Why?
知らない。
I let my shoulders fall. Are you listening to the rest?
うん。
Separated from Kengyu, Orihime continued to weave, driven by that day of the year when they could meet again. Kengyu also worked towards that goal, both of them longed for the 7th of July to come. But when the day came, the Milky Way was flooded with water and Orihime couldn't cross over to Hikoboshi's side. Separated by the Milky Way, they could only stare across the river and cry at the pain of not being able to meet each other. Ever since we were separated, I had our promise in my heart and used it as motivation while I worked. I've become knowledgeable about the stars. The difference between an astronomer and me is far larger than between an adult and child. However, I can easily recite the Tanabata legend. I can recite the story of Tanabata to the girl who loved the stars. Not only that, I can also romantically recite the stories behind the other constellations. I can recite it to her. As thanks for teaching me the joys of playing with friends, I would tell her stories of the stars. I wanted to tell her more stories before I left.
雨が降ったら織姫は彦星に会えないのね。
That's not true. I forced myself to produce a cheerful voice. When the Milky Way floods from rain, the magpies, which cannot bear to watch the lover's sorrow, appear.
カササギ
They're a type of crow.
小さそうな鳥ね。
Yeah, which is why magpies tend to fly in flocks. They spread out their wings and connect to form a bridge, helping Orihime cross over to Hikoboshi's
め
side.
でたしめでたし。
Yep, they all lived happily ever after. I take a small breath. Interesting?
普通だった。
Do you like the stars?
どうして？
Because you're only at the lookout on clear nights. Or is it because you're here to wait for me? Mare doesn't respond and looks at me. Maybe there's a deeper meaning to that look, but nothing comes to mind. There aren't any clouds to be found in this star-filled sky. There is nothing interfering with the Tanabata stars.
あなたにとってのカササギが
Orihime and Hikoboshi reunite above our
い
heads.
つか現れますように。
Mare steadily approaches me.
ちょっと目つむって。
Oh, it's the first time we see her sprite. Why?
なんでも
It's a bit scary.
怖くないから。
That's kind of fishy.
早くしてったらお姉さんの言うことが聞けないの。
After she puts it like that, I can only obey. Nothing happens, even with my eyes closed.
まだ目開けないでね。
Was she going to kiss him on the forehead? Her voice was very close. My heart starts beating uncontrollably, even though she's just a
開
child.
けたら絶望だからね。
I wonder why. The fragments of my memories start piecing together. They're supposed to be just illusions, yet my other half is telling me they aren't. That's the me of the past. The Kugasaka Yo who was still immature. My current self believes Mare is a different person from her, but the me of the past sees them as the same person. Perhaps it's because Mare has the same face as the girl in my memories. I liked her back then. Whether or not it was love, I definitely liked her. Then why didn't I tell her my feelings before I moved? If the past could be played out again, perhaps I would have been able to tell her after she kissed my forehead. Even if she tells me not to open my eyes before the count of 60, I would still open my eyes and confess to her. Something along the lines of, I like you, so I don't want us to be separated. I truly thank you. Because for someone like me who didn't have any friends, you were my first friend.
ありがとう。ようくん。
I feel something touch me. She cut him down. Not on the forehead, but on my chest. An inexplicable feeling. The sensation on my chest is having a pair of lips touching my forehead. That's impossible. I'm wearing clothes, so what's this warmth passing directly through my chest? I open my eyes. She didn't say anything about counting to 60, so I don't feel guilty for opening my eyes. Like a honey dipper buried in syrup. Mare's scythe was buried deep into my
で
chest.
きればあなたが悪夢を思い出している間にはしたくなかったけど。
There's no room to be feeling guilty, only shock.
でもそんなことも言ってられなかったから。
If I could measure the level of my shock, it would exceed to the number of stars in the sky.
あなたの悪夢は膨らむ一方だったから。
The blade goes deeper with a hiss. The surprise turns into fear. The scene in front of my eyes defies all logic. In the face of all this, I wanted to scream. But no sound came out. What I'm seeing has made my nervous system go out of control, paralyzing both my tongue and throat. Is that also why I can't feel any pain? No pain, but I feel warmth, as if a light is shining down on me. Have I gone mad?
これであなたの悪夢は一つ狩られた。
One of them, huh? So there are more? This warmth, which feels similar to the sensation of my first kiss. Very similar to the kiss on the forehead from her. Kiss. Huh? A strange feeling. I feel a sense of uneasiness. Like a child getting lost in a department store, or that hopeless feeling when you realize you're on an unfamiliar street. The feeling of suddenly not knowing where you are, even though you should. Huh? What just happened to me? Was I about to recall something just now? There's something I'm trying to hold onto in my head, but I don't know what it is exactly.
もう何度も言ったじゃない。
Tears slowly flow down Mare's cheeks.
私は悪夢を狩る死神だって。
As I think about how those tears are more beautiful than any star in the sky, what I was trying to hold on to vanishes.
そのために私はあなたを待っていたって。
Disappears completely. Even though it was supposed to be something very important. Was supposed to be special. I won't be able to meet like this. Will be angry and won't come see me. Because I've lost an important... that's why. And I won't be able to meet. What? What is this? Why is she crying? I had liked... was my first friend. That's why even when I was separated from... I didn't forget. I learned about the stars that liked. When we reunite, I receded to... and we'll...
やめて。思い出さないで。
What on earth is this? Why has it come to this?
辛いのはやだよ。
I understand now. I forgot. I forgot its name. It's so sudden. I had remembered so clearly up until now. The only piece of information I had of her disappeared from my memories like a gaping hole. What the hell is this? We won't be able to meet like this. I won't be able to meet her. I forgot my most important lead. His name. We won't be able to meet anymore. I beg of you. Please stop this. I made a promise to reunite with her. I haven't forgotten about her because I need to fulfill that promise. I've always considered not forgetting of the utmost importance, and yet... Is it because of you? The inexplicable is explained only by the unbelievable scene in front of me. Give it back. It was a treasured memory I had wiped endlessly since I didn't want it to be clouded. Yet this person is defiling it. Give it back! This person made my clear blurry. Her name, give it back to me.
いや。
I plead to her with my face full of tears.
だって私は死神だもの。悪夢を刈り取る死神だもの。
You're saying that her name is my nightmare?
そうよ。あなたが忘れたんだったらそうよ。
Her tears flow non-stop like those from Orihime and Hikoboshi.
よかったね。
Her words are firm despite her crying.
悪夢に悩まされずに済むんだものね。
The entire sky was filled with the stars of Tanabata. Engulfed by the grim starlight, Orihime and Hikoboshi gaze at each other across the Milky Way.
本当によかったね。よく。
The two in the sky disappear into the clouds. Chinami, still not ready yet? Hurry up and get down here. Ready for what? Let's find out next time on Hoshizora no Memoria. Thanks for watching everyone and have a nice day. Bye bye.